Hey guys, this is John from Fear No Evil Ministries, and I want to see if we can tackle a completely and totally divisive issue in less than 5 minutes. Here we go. So the state of Louisiana just passed a law saying that starting in 2025, every public classroom in the state has to display a poster of the Ten Commandments. So that's kind of cool. Now, what does that mean? So I'm not going to get into all of the legality of it and everything, and make this like a hugely philosophical hour-long talk. I might do that at some point, but for now, I just want to just kind of mention a couple of fair little things about this. So number one, is it cool to have the Ten Commandments displayed in a classroom? Absolutely. The Ten Commandments are just as much a part of our history as a people as anything else you will read in a history book, a science book, anything else that you learn in school. There's nothing wrong with having them up there, and it doesn't even have to be about Christianity or Judaism or any other religion, because remember, the Ten Commandments are not profoundly Christian. They are part of the Old Testament, which is then repeated in a multitude of other books. So I don't know if this is necessarily a huge win for Christianity or anything, and I don't need that. I personally believe that while creationism should definitely be taught in schools, I think that the biggest part of children learning this should be at home from their parents. Because let's face it, even inside of Christianity, there's a lot of divisive thinking. There's a lot of different ideas. And you don't want, trust me, you do not want the public school system to be responsible for teaching your children about God. That is just not a good idea. That's something that should be in the family. That's something that should be taught by someone who's profoundly trusted, like a parent or a sibling or an aunt, an uncle, grandparent, something like that. So I wouldn't go too crazy about this. I think that one of the things that's also important about this is people are saying, that they shouldn't do this because of the separation of church and state. But let's face it, everything is church. Secularism is church. Atheism is church. Everything's church. You believe in something. If you don't put a God behind it, that's fine. Somebody who says that they don't want religion around them will say things to the effect of, well, the universe just wants me to do this, or the universe just wants me to do that. It's a very popular thing thrown around by atheistic people. And I'm sorry, but you're just switching the word universe for God because the universe doesn't have any feelings or doesn't expect anything of you. And so I think at the end of the day, what I'm going to focus on with this talk, and just got a couple minutes left in it, is that what people do not want, the reason people don't want these commandments up, has nothing to do with any fairness or any fear of what religion is or anything. It is just strictly because they just don't want to be held accountable for these things. And I get that. Nobody does. It's hard to look at a list every day of the things that you wish you could be better at. And for kids, that might even get hard sometimes. I don't think they take things that seriously. I don't know, maybe when they're in high school or a publicly funded college, they'll feel differently. But this fight isn't just about God and religion or anything. It's about personal expectations. And my thing is, okay, fine, if you don't want to teach creationism as a theory, that's okay. Even though it's perfectly scientifically viable, just as much as any other theory out there. But if you have a problem with a list of 10 things you shouldn't do being on a wall and having an explanation saying you shouldn't do this and it's wrong to do any of these 10 things in this list, and objectively to any cultural morality, including religion or lack of religion that is really still religion, if you look at any of those 10 things on that list and you think it's okay to say, I don't want to be held accountable for these things, you've got a bigger problem than church and state. You've got a personal morality problem that you need to address, whether you do it through understanding the Lord or not. I definitely want you to understand the Lord, and I want you to know these commandments for what they are and for what they meant. But I also wouldn't mind this being a trend. I don't know. I don't think you need it up in every classroom. I think you need it in every household. I don't think you even need it up on the wall in every household. Everybody should just get taught these things at some point by reading the Bible and understanding they're part of our history. But of course, as Christians, we are not tied to these commandments anymore. They're still a great list of a way to live a life that is most prone to not harming yourself or anybody else. But we live under the law of liberty, and I guarantee you that is one they are not going to put up in a classroom. And yeah, it is what it is. So take it for what it's worth. It's just a list of things that we should consider at this point, and whether or not it's up in schools is a debate left to the states. And I think it's cool that one state decided to do it. We'll see where it goes from here. But anyway, just something to think about. The real law, the one that we are under, don't wait for schools to come around. Teach it in your home. Teach it to everyone you know. Don't just teach it to your kids or your family. Teach it to everybody you work with. Teach it to the people you pass on the street. Let them know the gospel, because everybody needs that. And I can tell you this, I remember a lot more about the Bible that I've read on my own than whatever I learned in public school. So do it yourself. Anyway, thanks guys. God bless.